Welcome to the Everyday English Learning Podcast. I am Jake.
And I am Lily. It is wonderful to have you all here with us today. We are about to dive into a topic that touches every single one of us, regardless of where we live or what we do.
That is right, Lily. Today we are focusing on daily schedules and habits. Now, some of you might think, I already know how to say I wake up and eat breakfast. But the truth is, the way we describe our routines defines how we connect with others. It's one of the most common conversation starters in the English-speaking world.
Exactly. Whether you're meeting a new colleague, catching up with a friend, or even sitting through a job interview, being able to articulate your daily rhythm with flow and natural phrasing makes a huge difference. We're not just talking about a list of chores, we're talking about the architecture of your life.
We want to help you move beyond basic sentences. Instead of just, I go to work, we want to help you describe the pace of your day, your personal rituals, and how you manage your time. By the end of this episode, you will have a more sophisticated toolkit of expressions to talk about your day-to-day existence with confidence and clarity.
So grab a cup of coffee or settle in for your commute. We have a lot of ground to cover, and we're going to make sure it's both practical and engaging for your English journey.
Before we get into the specific words, let's paint a picture of why this matters. Think about your typical Monday morning. For some, it is a race against the clock, fueled by caffeine and a ringing alarm. For others, it is a slow, intentional process of waking up before the rest of the world. Lily, how would you describe the atmosphere of your mornings?
Honestly, it's a bit of a mix. I try to be one of those people who meditates and journals, but more often than not, I'm searching for my keys while trying to toast a bagel. But that is the beauty of this topic. There is a huge difference between our ideal routine and our actual routine. When we talk to native speakers, we often share these small struggles because they make us relatable.
That is a great point. When we set the scene for our daily lives, we are inviting people into our personal space. Imagine you're at a networking event and someone asks, "So, what does a busy day look like for you?" If you just list tasks, the conversation dies. But if you describe the morning rush or the afternoon slump, you are creating a story.
I want our listeners to take a moment right now and visualize their own day. Think about the specific sounds, the hum of the coffee maker, the silence of a commute, or the noise of a busy office. Think about the transitions, those moments between finishing work and starting your evening. Are you someone who hits the ground running, or do you need a bit of time to ease into the day?
We want you to think of your daily schedule not as a rigid timetable, but as a series of scenes in a movie. Perhaps your morning is a high-energy opening scene, while your evening is a calm, cinematic ending. By shifting your perspective this way, you start to see English not just as a set of rules, but as a tool to describe your unique human experience.
So, as we move forward, keep that personal movie of your day in mind. We're going to give you the script you need to narrate it perfectly. Whether you're a night owl who thrives in the late hours or an early bird who catches the worm, there is a way to express that rhythm that feels authentic to you.
Now that we have the atmosphere set, let's build the foundation. To talk about your day effectively, you need more than just verbs. You need phrases that describe frequency, intensity, and transition. One of my favorite phrases to describe a morning routine is to kick off. Instead of saying, I start my day, you can say, I kick off my morning with a quick workout. It sounds much more dynamic, don't you think?
Definitely. It sounds proactive. On the other side of that, if you are like me and you struggle to get out of bed, you might use the term hit the snooze button. We've all been there, that 5-minute delay that turns into 20 minutes. When you finally do get up, you might have to rush out the door to make it to your first meeting on time.
Let's look at some sophisticated ways to describe work or study habits. A very common idiom is to get into the groove. This means you have reached a point where you are working productively and everything is flowing smoothly. For example, it takes me about an hour and a cup of coffee to really get into the groove of my tasks. On the flip side, if you are overwhelmed, you might say you are snowed under with work.
I love those. And let's not forget the midday transition. Many people experience what we call the afternoon slump, that feeling of tiredness after lunch. To combat this, you might grab a bite to eat or take a breather. Taking a breather is so important. It's a short break to catch your breath and clear your mind before tackling the rest of the day.
As the day winds down, we use phrases like to wrap up. You don't just stop working, you wrap up your projects. This implies finishing things neatly. And when you finally head home, you might want to decompress or unwind. These words are much more descriptive than just saying relax. They suggest letting go of the stress and pressure of the day.
Let's recap some of these for our listeners. I'll say the phrase, and I want you to repeat it out loud wherever you are. Ready? To hit the ground running. This means to start something with a lot of energy. Now try to burn the midnight oil. This is for our night owls who stay up very late working or studying.
Great job. Another essential one, on a regular basis. Instead of just saying usually, try I go to the gym on a regular basis. It sounds more professional and consistent. Also, consider the phrase to make time for. Life is busy, so we don't just have time, we make time for things that matter, like reading or calling a friend.
These phrases act like the glue that holds your sentences together. Instead of a robotic list, you're now using natural-sounding English. Try to pick just 3 of these today and see if you can fit them into a conversation or even just a thought about your own schedule.
Now, let's see all those phrases in action. Lily and I are going to act out a conversation between 2 friends catching up on their new routines. Pay attention to how we use the vocabulary we just discussed to make the conversation feel natural.
Hey Jake, I haven't seen you at the local cafe lately. Have you changed your morning routine?
Oh, hey Lily. Yeah, I've had to make some adjustments. I've started trying to hit the ground running much earlier. I usually kick off my day at 5:30 a.m. now.
5:30? Wow, you really are an early bird. I'm still struggling to not hit the snooze button 5 times. Does that mean you're getting to the office earlier too?
Exactly. I like to get there before the phones start ringing so I can get into the groove without any distractions. It helps me stay ahead so I don't end up feeling snowed under by noon.
That's smart. I've been the opposite lately. My team is launching a new project, so I've been burning the midnight oil almost every night this week. By the time I get home, I'm so exhausted I just need to decompress for an hour before I can even think about sleep.
I remember those weeks. They're tough. Do you at least manage to take a breather during the day?
I try to. I usually make time for a quick walk during my lunch break, just to clear my head. It really helps me fight off that afternoon slump. Anyway, I should let you go. I need to head back and wrap up a few reports before the end of the day.
No problem. Let's try to grab a coffee next week once your schedule settles down.
Deal. Talk to you soon.
Now it's your turn. I want you to imagine I am your friend. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to answer out loud using at least one phrase we learned. Ready? So, how do you usually kick off your morning? Great effort. Now let's try one more. Imagine I'm a colleague and I ask, you look busy. Are you feeling snowed under lately? Excellent work. Speaking these words out loud is the best way to move them from your passive memory into your active vocabulary. Don't worry about being perfect, just focus on the flow. It is one thing to practice a script, but it is another thing entirely to apply these concepts when life gets unpredictable. You know, Lily, we often talk about routines as if they are set in stone, but real life is rarely that tidy.
That is so true, Jake. Cultural expectations play a huge role here, too. In some cultures, a daily schedule is very rigid. Everything happens exactly on the minute. In others, time is more fluid. When you are learning English to communicate globally, you have to be able to describe how you adapt. For instance, how do you talk about your habits when you are traveling or when a sudden deadline throws a wrench in your plans?
Exactly. Using these expressions helps you navigate those social nuances. If you tell a friend, I usually try to make time for exercise, but this week has been hectic, you're doing more than sharing a schedule. You're sharing your values and your current state of mind.
It builds a bridge of empathy.
I also think it's important for our listeners to consider their emotional routine. We focus so much on the doing, working, eating, sleeping, but what about the feeling? Do you feel invigorated after your morning coffee, or do you feel drained by the end of a long commute? Using English to express these feelings makes your conversations much more meaningful.
We want to hear from you, the listeners. Think about a habit you've recently started, something that has changed your daily rhythm for the better. Maybe you've started unwinding without your phone, or perhaps you've committed to taking a breather every afternoon. How does that make you feel? More focused, more at peace?
Don't be afraid to share those feelings, even if you don't have the perfect words yet. The goal of learning a language is connection. When you tell someone, I'm trying to be an early bird, but it's a struggle, you invite them to share their own experience. It turns a language exercise into a real human moment.
So, as you go through the rest of your day, observe your habits. Don't just do them, narrate them in your head. If you're standing in line for groceries, think, I'm just grabbing a few things to wrap up my day. It's these small, real-life applications that turn a learner into a speaker. We have covered a lot of ground today, and I am so proud of the progress we are making together. Before we let you go back to your own busy schedules, let's take a moment to pull all the pieces together.
It can feel like a lot to remember, but remember that language learning is about building layers. Let's look back at the key vocabulary we use to transform a simple schedule into a vivid story. We started with the morning using phrases like kick off to start with energy and hit the ground running for those high-intensity beginnings.
And for those who prefer a slower start, we talked about the temptation to hit the snooze button. As we moved into the workday, we introduced getting into the groove, that perfect state of productivity, and the feeling of being snowed under when the tasks pile up too high.
We also touched on the importance of self-care with phrases like taking a breather during the afternoon slump and the essential skill of making time for the things that truly matter to us. Finally, we looked at how to end the day by wrapping up our work and finding ways to unwind or decompress.
The logic behind these phrases is simple. They help you move from stating facts to sharing experiences. Instead of saying, I am busy, saying, I am snowed under gives to a listener a clear image of your situation. It adds color and emotion to your English.
We really encourage you to keep practicing. Maybe tonight, before you go to sleep, try to summarize your day in English using just 3 of the phrases we talked about. Did you manage to get into the groove today, or did you have to burn the midnight oil? Reflecting on your day and your target language is one of the most effective ways to build fluency.
Consistency is the key. You don't need to study for hours, you just need to integrate these small pieces of English into your regular basis routine. You are doing a fantastic job, and the fact that you are here listening to this shows your commitment. Well, it looks like we are about to wrap up our session for today. It has been an absolute pleasure sharing these moments with you. I hope you feel a little more equipped to talk about your daily life with the flair and detail it deserves.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Remember, every day is a new opportunity to practice. Whether you are an early bird or a night owl, your story is worth telling. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. That is just a natural part of getting into the groove of a new language. You are doing much better than you think you are.
We would love to have you join us for our next episode, where we will be exploring the language of food and dining, from ordering at a busy cafe to describing your favorite home-cooked meals. It is going to be a delicious conversation, and you won't want to miss it.
Until then, try to stay consistent with your new English habits. Make it a part of your regular basis routine to listen, speak, and think in English, even if it is just for a few minutes a day. We believe in you.
Stay curious, stay motivated, and keep learning. From all of us here at the Everyday English Learning Podcast, have a wonderful morning, a productive afternoon, or a restful night's sleep.
Goodbye, everyone. See you in the next episode. Bye.
Goodbye.